Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 103 for Tuesday, the 28th of December 2021. We are currently recording and live streaming on Twitch on Boxing Day. We are that dedicated. So I'm your host, Mark Webb, Gamertag, Piss on D, Steam ID, Webby360G. Joining me on this fine evening is...
Just me, Nick Fights, all alone, just me.
Just Webby and Nikki. Again, that's 2 weeks in a row, Nikki. It's just been us.
No.
I think something's going on, mate. I do think something's going on.
Maybe.
You know.
I don't know what is going on.
Darren hasn't been on for 2 weeks.
But he definitely hates me.
And he definitely hates everyone.
Oh, that's fair enough then. At least I'm the same as everyone.
We've got no Dan, no Stunty, no Peebs. Where is everyone? Where is everyone indeed?
So, all too pissed to work out how to work Discord.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you haven't listened to last week's show, the freebie portion, I am currently on the search. I'm on the search for more people who would like to come on the podcast. As you may have noticed, if you've been listening recently, there's only been myself, Nikki and Darren on. So if Nikki or Darren decide to tell me that they need a week off or whatever, leaves me a little bit in the lurch for the show. So I am looking for people. You don't have to dedicate every single Sunday. You know, you can be a backup if you wish. That's no problem at all. It would be nice to have some more voices on the show anyway, give some different opinions, etc., etc. So don't be shy. I would love to hear more of you on the show. So if you are interested, please email me, Webby. Oh no, not Webby. Scratch that. I was going to give my personal email address there. Not doing that. Okay, so email
I haven't
me.
Even got that.
Email me 360gamercast@gmail.com. Let me know if you want to join the show. And that would be amazing. Okay? More voices, the better. I would love to hear some more of you on the show. I do party chat with a lot of you. And I know some of you play a lot of games, have some good opinions. Come on. It'll be fun. Let's do this thing. Okay? Let me know. Another piece of news is I'm currently thinking about the Game of the Year show that is due very soon. So it looks like we'll probably do that in the first few weeks of January, Nikki. Game of the Year 2021 show. Just gives people a little bit of an extra chance to play some games, etc., etc. Try to organise people to come on. Well, I know you do. So your list would probably be very short. We normally do a top 5. You've probably got a top 2, but that's fine.
But maybe 3.
Yeah, so we will be doing a Game of the Year show. It will be happening in January, probably within the first couple of weeks of January. So we'll let you know when that's going to happen. And that's about it. Gavlar on Twitch. Hello, Gavlar. Very nice of you to join us. He says he hopes we all had a good Christmas. Well, I had a very nice Christmas day. I don't know about you, Nikki.
It was alright. Went round parents' house, met up with my sister as well, opened presents, food, drank a litre of Jack Daniels, and here I am.
Nice. I have been drinking single barrel malt Jack Daniels. Very delicious.
Oh, I got one of those different glasses. I'm saving that for New Year's.
I did see the picture of your haul. When you get kids, Christmas, you don't really get any good Christmas presents anymore. All I got was a couple of Evercade cartridges and some slippers. That was it.
Poor Wendy, yeah. But you must spend all your money on the kids, so that's your fault.
Well, put it this way: the kids didn't stop unwrapping presents till 4:00 in the afternoon.
Those spoiled kids.
Yeah, so we had a busy day. I drank a lot. Pretty much the same today, drinking, chilling, gaming with my boy, and then I'm back at work tomorrow. So All is good in the world, I suppose.
I'm not back till Tuesday, so I'm going to keep you going really long tonight.
Well, let's hope not. I've been playing quite a few games, which we will need to rip through. Yeah, so Christmas has been nice. Yeah, I am really enjoying the Evercade. Still playing that quite a bit, so I'll be talking about that shortly. Got some new Evercade games as well, so yeah. Cool. Right, shall we get into it then? Do you want to go first this week, Nikki? Because I think I went first last week.
Yeah, I might as well go first, get the worst games out of the way now. Oh, did we want to say what games we got for Christmas, or are we not bothering with that as there's only two of us now?
Well, as I say, the only games I got for Christmas were Evercade games, so I can tell you, I got a cartridge with the Worms collection, the old classic Worms games. I got another cartridge with a couple of indie games which I really wanted to get. One of them's on Game Pass actually, called Xeno Crisis, which I'll be talking about shortly, and the other one is called Tanglewood, which is a pretty decent little indie game as well. But I will be mentioning them shortly on my games played.
Ooh, cool. Yeah, I've got like old, new, fairly new, but old games. I got, what was it, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Mass Effect Trilogy, Watch Dogs Legion, and Kingdoms of Amalur. Was it Re-Reckoning? I never
Oh
played
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I just got those. And but how long it takes me to play new games, I will probably be talking about them in another 4 or 5 years, and we'll be on another 2 or 3 different named podcasts by then because you'll have cancelled it several times by then.
No, well, I am trying to keep the show going as long as possible under the current name. I'd have no plans to change the name. I'm kind of sick of doing that now. And yeah, we'll just keep on going. As long as I can get people to actually come on the show with me, the show will carry on. Because no one wants to hear just me blabbering on for a couple of hours a week. That would just
Oh,
be
come
really
on, Webby, you
boring.
know you're everybody's favourite.
Well, I think all the favourites have gone now, to be honest, but there we go.
Plus, it's not really a podcast if it's one person talking, is it? That's just a pod.
Yeah, yeah, and it would probably be better served as just a YouTube content. I won't have to pay any fucking hosting costs. But there, anyway, what have you been playing, Nicky? What have you been playing, my man, the last week?
I don't know if because I played this the week before last, but I don't think I talked about it.
Right.
I don't think I did, but it's hard to remember. Was it Castlevania Rondo of Blood?
Don't remember you talking about that, but I have a really bad memory, so.
So did I. So if I'm repeating what I said last week, then I do apologise. But I mean, it didn't go very well because that's part of collection on PS4. So it's that one and Symphony of the Night, a two collection because Symphony of the Night, like story wise, that starts right after Rondo of Blood.
Right.
I think that's the guy you start as, and then you start up as, was it Alucard?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but this is the blue dude with the silly little whip.
That's Richter, isn't it?
Said Rondo. I don't know. Could be Richter. I don't know. See, this is how good I am at Castlevania.
Is that
the
Richter
reason
Belmont? I'm pretty sure
remember.
it's Richter. I'm sure it is. I'm probably wrong, but that's.
Does sound about right. I mean, obviously, I don't know that much because I can't get past the second level.
Yeah, they're notoriously hard, these old Castlevania games.
Yeah, this is hard. I mean, the bosses weren't too bad, and some of the enemies. So I got to the second level. It only took me like 2 hours, so I did give it a good old go. But I got stuck on the birds in the next one because unlike you've just got like a little chain whip.
Yeah.
Which only goes like 90 degrees left, 90 degrees right. So you have to like line it up perfectly so he doesn't like swing it at them or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's rock hard, but I suppose other people, if they're waiting for new Dark Souls thingy game coming out next year.
Or Elden Ring.
Yeah, Elden Ring. So if they're like yearning for some like more games like that and something different, I might give that a go.
Yeah, I mean the Castlevania collection. I don't know if it's still on sale, but it was recently on sale dirt cheap. I think it was like £3, £3 or £4 or something.
I bought that because I think they were all on sale, but I don't know how long. I think either until the new year, or that might have been last week, but
Mm.
they're on sale quite a lot.
Hmm.
There's some good games. I mean, I enjoyed them. I need to get to try Symphony of the Night again because I know all favourite games, and now I've got
Yeah.
it on the PS4. I think it might be a bit more responsive because when I played that on the PS3 last year or the year before, I was really struggling with the PS3 controller because the buttons are just
Right.
crap and rubbery. So I was like pressing jump, and he just wouldn't jump
Right.
sometimes.
Okay.
So I'm blaming the controller for my lack of skill.
Oh, it's always the controller. A bad
Is
workman always blames his tools.
I'm right, I do. That's what I live by that at work as well. Blame all the tools.
Cool,
Right, so
man.
I've done that. I've also been really trying hard to get go through Yakuza Kiwami.
Bloody, it's still on that.
I'm trying as hard as that's a lot. Well, I say it's not that long game. I think it's about 20 hours. I'm on chapter 10 of I want to say 15 or 18, but I'm
Right.
trying really hard to finish it because it comes off Game Pass on Friday the 31st.
You're gonna have to buy them, aren't you?
Well, I've got them all apart from Kiwami 1 on
Right.
disc, so that's this one I haven't got. So yeah, that's why I want to get this one done because the rest of them I've got, so I wouldn't need to buy those.
You've
But
got 5 days, mate. Bang it out. Job
I
done.
will try. I'm off tomorrow. I will stream it and I will play it all day. But the only problem is I keep doing all these side missions and stupid things. Like I said before, I thought, right, I'm just going to concentrate on the story mission, and then
Yeah.
2 hours pass and I'm like playing the teddy grabber machines.
Yeah.
And I
That game
also
is full of distractions.
in this one we've got this collect all this stuff. You collect these sexy cards with these girls on them, and
Oh,
you
right, a bit of wanking material for you then.
probably, not when I'm live on Twitch. Obviously, that's my OnlyFans account. If you want to see some of that, Nick Fists. But but you get you talk to this little kid in a coat, and then you play this card game. It's really basic. It's just basically rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
But the graphics are kind of like a Dead or Alive game.
Yeah.
But with like really skimpy clothes, so you get different cards, like to see different women in different costumes and stuff like that, and you just do all that sort of thing. And if you win the move, then she'll do like a wrestling move on the other girl, whilst the camera is zooming in on like her naughty bits as you
Right.
do. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, I've just finished. Like I say, I'm just up to chapter 10. So I just finished obviously chapter 9 before that, just like a big, like basically all out fighting, pretty much the whole chapter, which I really like the fighting in this game.
Yeah, it's
All of
good,
the
yeah.
Yakuza games. I mean, this is the older engine, so it's like the load times in between fights are a little bit longer than obviously the newer like Judgment and things like that.
Yeah.
Plus, Kiryu can only run for like 5 seconds before he's out of breath and has to stop, which is kind of annoying if you're trying to get away from people. But I just did this bit where so I'm in a big hotel fight because the little girl I found in the last game, she got kidnapped, which is weird because I think technically I kidnapped her to begin with, so
Mm.
it's a lot of kidnapping. So I had to go find her in this big hotel, and I got there, and the bloke on the desk just pulled out a machine gun, and I
Mhm.
just like grabbed like the busboy and just put him in front of me, and he just screamed and shot him instead, like the whole clip. So then I just threw the body at him. That was pretty funny, but the fighting in this game's pretty good because I don't think there's many other games like this, Yakuza games, fighting games like that.
No,
Do you think
there
of
isn't.
any?
It's kind of like a 3D kind of button mashing fighting game, and and that's where it's such a change up on the other Yakuza, Yakuza 7, where it makes it into a turn based fighting system, which actually works really well, funnily enough. But these old battle systems are a hell of a lot of fun. They really, really are.
Well, if I'm on Yakuza 1, so that's we've got 0, then 1, I'll probably be on Yakuza 7 like a dragon in about 10 years, probably.
Probably the rate that you play games, mate. Yeah, for
I'd
sure.
probably, well, I'd probably be off Game Pass by then, though. That's the problem. Right,
So
so,
what
and
else you
also
played, mate?
another game which is fairly old now, but even though I got it Christmas 4 years ago, I've never even touched it. Till
Wow.
yesterday, because I took my Switch with me round my mum and dad's. That's Zelda Breath of the Wild.
You are kidding me.
You
You've
know I
no.
don't play games, Webby. I buy all the games and I go back to playing retro games. You know
What the
that's what
hell
I
is
do.
going on with you, my man? Oh my goodness. Are you serious?
Well, I was gonna play it last year, and I think when I was streaming and I got pissed, and I think I threw the Pro controller on the floor, broke it, so I didn't have a controller to stream with.
Oh my god.
So
It's
so I played
such an amazing game. I can't believe you're only playing it now.
yeah, I played it for about 2, 3 hours last night whilst drinking my Jack Daniels. So I
Oh
remember most of the start of it at least.
wow. I am quite shocked that you haven't played it until now. That's pretty insane.
Oh mate, I've got newer game. I've still got Zelda Twilight Princess on the GameCube, new and sealed. I haven't even started that one yet.
Me. Goodness me.
Playing games isn't fun. Collecting games is where it's at, Webby.
Yeah. So you're enjoying Breath of the Wild anyway, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like floating around. I don't know why Link started up and he was naked in a bath. I'm not sure why he was naked in a bath. Well, he had boxer shorts on at least, which was good, and just got out, just like collecting weapons. I mean, this is like more of a straight away open world Zelda
Yep.
game
Yeah,
rather
that's
than the other
correct. Yeah.
ones I've played. And anything is like the weapons do break quite a bit. It's not
Yep.
too bad. You just gotta like hold the D-pad or where the D-pad would be, select which weapons you want to choose. But that's good because it stops the pauses the game whilst you do that,
Mm,
which is
yep.
nice. Because if it was like Dark Souls and you had to do it on the fly, the game would be basically broken because you're sitting there trying to item manage and stuff like that. And I found some clothes and put them on, which is pretty cool. And just try to go through that. I think I've just done the first shrine.
Yep.
Then some bloke come out and he said, "Oh, you got if you want this paraglider thing, so I can use that to fly off to the next area because apparently you can't just jump like 500 feet off the edge of the world, you die." So I'm like, "Oh, all
Oh,
right."
funny that.
Yeah, well, I've been playing Halo, mate. You jump off the edge of the bloody world in that in this
Yeah.
game. So, but yeah, so he says, "Oh, go in this shrine and get me this treasure, and I'll give you this paraglider." Right, that's so I went in there, done. I mean, this was just like a tutorial shrine. There wasn't really
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just they gave you like a big magnet thing
Yeah.
to move some items about, things like that. And then I got out, and he's like, "Oh, but yeah, well, actually, I'd rather you just do all the shrines in the area for you before I give you the paraglider." And usually in between, you get like two bits of text. One is like the standard, what Link would probably say, and the other one is like, "You're joking, ain't you, you prick?" Stuff like that, where he's just being really sarky to him. So obviously,
Yeah.
I'm just picking all the sarky stuff, but so I'm trying to get that and because you can then use this weird tablet thing you've got, which opens these shrines.
Yep.
It's also like a telescope thing, so you can like look around the map and set waypoints. So I was just climbing up like a mountain to try and get to like one of the next ones. It's not too bad because you've got like a little stamina bar when you're climbing,
Yep.
and if you try to go faster and you press jump, you lose some of the stamina. So I had about 4 goes at trying to get up this mountain, and I just kept falling off and dying. So that was
Fair
good. I'll
dues.
enjoy that. The only thing really negative I'd say on that is because I'm playing it on I was playing it the portable mode on the Switch. Some of the text was a bit small.
Right. I think you
I
need
like
to need
obviously
better
old.
glasses, mate.
Just got better glasses. Maybe I do need more glasses, but it's just a little bit smaller. But I did try it
Yeah, yeah.
on TV when I got home this afternoon. It's much better on a bigger screen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just not all of the text, just like some of it in the menus is a little bit hard to see.
Right, okay.
I'm enjoying that, and I'll probably get round to finishing that in the next 2 or 3 years.
Good times.
And also, let's say for Christmas yesterday, so that's probably the quickest. I got a new arcade stick.
Hmm.
like my fighting games. It's a May Flash F500 version 2 something. I just, because this one you can use it on pretty much all the consoles rather than a lot of you get only work for PlayStation or only work for Xbox and things like that. So
Yeah.
this one works for like all the PlayStations, like Xbox, PC, even Switch as well.
Oh, nice.
It's quite nice. The only difference is for the PlayStation 4, 5, and the newer Xbox, you have to actually plug your controller into the arcade stick as well,
Oh, okay.
then plug the arcade stick into the console. That's not the
Yeah.
end of the world. That's just I think that's because you obviously need a home button or something like that, which you can't have all the different style home buttons, to work for that. But I've been playing that, so I plugged it into my PS3. I've been going for all my PS1 fighting games.
Oh, cool.
I love a bit of them. So I felt like probably one of my favourite fighting games ever on PS1. I was pretty good at that. At least I was back in the day. I'm not very good now because I'm old and blind, apparently. It's Bloody Raw. Did you ever play that?
No.
I mean, that was good. I mean, to be fair, there was a lot of fighting games on PS1.
Mm.
Loads. I mean, there was. I mean,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
they're sort of died a death a bit now. Plus, they're all full of microtransactions and stuff like that. I mean, it basically looks like Tekken and plays like Tekken, Virtual Fighter, and stuff like that. It's a little bit more simplified, obviously, where you just build up your beast gauge, and you just press one button, and then you like transform into your beast form.
Right.
Obviously, two people I use is Long and Alice. They're two of my favourite. Obviously, Alice is the girl. Then you press the button, then she turns into a giant bunny rabbit.
All right.
It just like beats the crap out of you. I mean, it's just a really good game. I'm sort of saying I used to be so bigger into fighting games back then, and
So,
then
so that's the reason you got an arcade stick. So the cool thing about arcade sticks. I mean, I've got one. I've got an 8-bit Doe one that I can use on my PC and my Switch.
I know what
And
you mean. Yeah,
and it's probably the same with your one. Is you can change the parts on them. So the first thing I did when I got mine was I bought Sanwa stick and buttons and changed them
that's
out.
what because I'm in a
Yeah.
Discord group for that, and basically anything you say, you'll put Samurai parts on and put them all on. So I will do that at some point next year because my mate Macker, I know he's modded a lot of arcade sticks.
Yeah.
So like I'll just like have a play with this one until I sort of get used to it, and then sometime in the new year, whenever I go see him or he comes see me, I'll order all the parts and
Yeah.
swap out. Then you'll sort of feel the benefit, obviously, for going to the best parts and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Because there's a
Oh,
few
cool.
bits
Yeah.
which I'm trying to work out because on the arcade stick it comes with two gates. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can basically it's only like screwdriver and you can undo the bottom and you can change it for like a square gate or a
Yeah. So like,
hexagonal gate.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
because obviously then after Bloody Raw I was playing Street Fighter Alpha 2.
Right. Yeah.
I had Alpha 3 on my PlayStation 3, but I can't find it anywhere. I don't know where that's gone. That's gone walkabout, but because that's like my main one I played on there, and it's just a little bit harder sort of playing as Ryu or Ken to do like the Hadouken and stuff like that,
Yeah.
where
With
you
the
have
square
to
one, that is harder. Yeah.
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 So I don't know if it's better to swap for the hex gate. So I might try that at some point,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
That's what I
next
would
week.
do.
Swap that out because yeah. But like I say, I asked in my Discord, a Discord chat, and that all they kept going on was the Senva buttons. I'm like, but what about the Hadouken?
All right. Cool, man. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying that.
And then I had to go at the old classic, which I don't think they do this anymore. It's Battle Arena Toshinden.
Oh, okay. Well, what system is that on?
PS1.
Oh man, that's old school, isn't it? Old
Yeah,
school.
I mean they actually. I mean, they've actually got. I've got 4 of those. I did 4 of those on PS1.
Oh
There's
wow.
just so many games like that which they don't say they don't make many fighting games like that, and I think they've stopped doing. Because I think even like Capcom did 2 or 3 different fighters and things like that, and Namco did several, but I think Namco's pretty much only Tekken now.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think they were worked out like if they bring out 2 or 3 different fighting games a year, then they're just like competing with each other.
Yeah.
For the same sort of crowd. It's like if Activision released like 4 different Call of Duty games in 1 year.
Mm.
They'd rather we'll just use one and get everyone to do it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that. And then I tried, which wasn't very good because I tried to play Resident Evil 2 with the arcade stick.
Why?
Because I saw that video. Well, no, because I know a bloke who on Twitch plays like a lot of older games or different games with like steering wheel or an arcade stick. I mean, another guy I knew, he completed Resident Evil 2 using the dance mat. He's
Oh
holding
God.
his foot like to go forward and using the other foot to like shoot and stuff like that. I just thought that's hilarious because like how he set the camera up so you could see him trying to do it. I just thought, I mean, you've got your steering wheel, Webby. Maybe you should try and play
No, it's not
Final
happening.
Fantasy with your steering wheel.
Not happening.
Well, you could complete it properly, then go on a date with Barrett and get the full platinum
Fuck
trophies.
that. No. Cool, man.
And other than that, the usual Forza. Started to get go through that now because after what you said last week, where I wasn't getting enough of the stars to unlock everything, so I started to unlock everything now. I think it's got about 3 barn finds left to do now.
Yeah.
And 1.5, the little where you have to put the stamps on the little cards.
Yeah.
I've got 1.5 of those left to do, so I shouldn't be far off finishing that in the next couple of weeks.
It's a great game, man. Great game.
It's really good. I mean, like I said, I was a bit down on it when it first came out because I'd been playing or on and off for ages, so I don't know if I just got burnt out. Whereas I think you said you played the hell out of 4, pretty much didn't touch it for a few years.
Mm-hmm. There's a problem when I get a Forza Horizon game. I usually bang it all out in a couple of weeks, and then I just kind of play it sporadically. If I see like a couple of people playing, I try and join their games. But apart from that, I don't really play them again.
They bring out all these weird Hot Wheels DLC and Lego and stuff. Did you get all those as well?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I loved all those. Yeah, they're really good on the old one.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't on the last one. I did on 3, but I didn't like it because I had Storm Island. I didn't like it because it was raining all the time.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So, I mean,
being called Storm Island.
Yeah, who'd have thought it was going to be raining all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, and I had a little go on COD. I'm getting it because
deleted Vanguard or Warzone.
I deleted Vanguard because the free trial ended on Tuesday.
I didn't even get a chance to play
it. Yeah, so that finished Tuesday at some point. So I deleted that, went back to normal Warzone. But I looked at that. I mean, it went down to 40 quid for the cross-gen bundle, but I just thought, because I think that's going to drop even cheap. Because like we said before, that's one of the worst selling CODs I've had for years. But that's about it, really, in the last week.
Okay, mate. Well, it was pretty quick, to be fair for you.
That's what she said.
Whoop, whoop. Okay, right. Well, I've been playing quite a bit, but I'm not going to dwell on them for too long. So the main one I have finished is the Halo Infinite campaign. I finished it this week. I actually live streamed some of it as well because I hadn't streamed for a while, and I thought, you know what, I need to be streaming. Streamed a little bit. So I finished the campaign, and I have to say, overall, the Halo Infinite campaign is pretty fun. Very enjoyable. I did go around the open world and do pretty much all the collectibles that I could find. They on the map, so all the bases, saving all the Marines, fighting all the bosses, collecting all the upgrades for your suit and all that stuff. So that took a little bit of time. But overall, when I got to the end of the game, also I'm not going to give any spoilers for people, but the beginning of the game feels like classic Halo, right? The first couple of, until you get to the open world. And then the open world section of the game doesn't really even need to be there, to be honest. Like, it feels like filler, if that makes sense, because there isn't really hell of a lot of story content really in the open world section. I now I can see why people who didn't do any of the side stuff blasted through the game so quick now, to be honest. Because the open world, unless you're doing all the collectibles and stuff like that, you can breeze through it, and it does feel like filler, because once you unlock the kind of end portion of the game, that is, it takes you out of the open world and it goes back to classic Halo again. That linearity, and the levels felt very familiar to the old Halos as well. And that end of the game is about 3 hours long, where you're not in the open world.
And that give you a warning to let you know, like, there's a point of no return?
No. I mean, when you finish the game, it puts you back in the open world anyway, so you can go and mop up all your collectibles afterwards anyway.
Oh, that's not too bad,
and contrary to what Sly Ullman says, you can go everywhere, right? So you unlock fast travel points, and there is one little portion of the map that doesn't have a fast travel point. But you can, so on your spawn points, you can spawn vehicles at them. You can spawn some flying vehicles after a certain point, and then you can just fly wherever you want on the map anyway. So yeah, you can just go and do all the collectibles afterwards. But it did feel like very classic Halo. As I say, very enjoyable. But as I say, the open world, when you first get it and you start exploring it, you think, oh yeah, this is cool, but it does get very repetitive. I can see why some people got quite sick of the open world section, and to be honest, in my mind, it didn't really need to be there, like as for the overarching story of the game. But it was still a very enjoyable experience, and which I recommend anyone who's got Xbox Game Pass, Xbox, to play. The only disappointing thing for me, as I did mention last week, was I actually deleted the campaign off my PC and just played through the rest of the game on my Xbox, because the campaign portion on the PC still has some performance issues and it was pissing me off. So I just rinsed the rest of it on the Series X. But yeah, apart from that, really enjoyed it, man. Enjoyed it.
I'm still playing save sort of cross over from PC to
yeah. Because automatically just saves to the cloud. You can just power it on another system and it just carry on. Great.
That's good, considering also one is console and one is PC as well.
Yeah, but most games, I'd say most games that are on Game Pass and they're on both PC and console, because the saves in the cloud, it just syncs and you just carry on.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it's good. Okay. Yeah, man, I recommend Halo campaign. If you're not bothered about Chivos or anything, you don't need to bother with all the side bullshit. Still playing the multiplayer as well, still enjoying that. It's Halo, man. Times. Okay, next game then that I've been playing. I jumped on to some Battlefield 2042 with Clarky this week, and we had a blast on it. Now, the one thing I will say though is I do think the game has lost a big portion of its player base already, which is, I think, a little bit of a shame. But I don't think a lot of gamers are going to forgive EA for the terrible launch. The reason that's why I think it's lost a lot of its player base is because we wanted to go in the Portal mode to do some of the Battlefield 3 game modes. And you can load up a server browser to look at the servers, and there isn't a lot of servers with a lot of people on it. And we were playing on an evening when it's meant to be like a busy time, So that is a little bit of a concern for me. But we did play some Battlefield 3 maps. Valparaiso is still one of my favourite maps. Absolutely fantastic. Have some good memories of playing that on the Xbox 360. Me and Clarky, when we were playing it, were talking about some memories that we had from playing back in the day. Played some of the modern maps. We did all 64-player Conquest or Rush. We had such. The game's just fun, right? And as I say, it does some issues still, right? But like there's some balancing issues with the vehicles and stuff like that. But performance-wise, I think it's actually, as I mentioned last week and the week before that, it's actually pretty decent now. To be fair, you know, and it's fun, and that's what gaming's about at the end of the day, right? So me and Clark have been having lots of fun on Battlefield, and we still want more people to join us, even though I don't think people will. Even though Game Pass people get 10 hours free and they're not playing it, which is a shocking indictment of a Battlefield game. Because I remember back in the day when a Battlefield game used to come out, everyone used to be on it, and that was it.
Said last week I'd play with you, and I said, "Oh, I could play this time and this time," and you said, "I've got kids, man. I can't."
Oh
play
no, sometimes I do struggle, and obviously it's been Christmas week as well, isn't it? So
this game looks like it's like if you've got co-op and you've got mates to play with, you're away. But I look at this and think if I played this single player, it's just too much to try and work out on your own.
Well, that's like a lot of these multiplayer games, just like Call of Duty or various other multiplayer games. That all multiplayer games are more fun if you're in with a squad of your mates and you're in party chat and you're just chatting your shit whilst you're gaming. And that's why me and Clarky have been having fun on this, because the gameplay is fun, but it's just us, we're chatting, we're just shooting the breeze as we're gaming at the same time, right? So
when you go to these other maps from older games, are they modernized them with the better graphics, or are they just basically the old maps from?
No, they are better graphics. They are modernized. They don't look as good as obviously the brand spanking new maps, but they do look decent. To be fair, I think they look really good. So
I remember someone, there was a review and they were saying, "Oh, we went in Portal mode, and some of these maps look like 360 maps." I'm like, they are.
Well, I'm playing on PC, and I think the graphics on the older maps look okay. To be fair, no, it's obviously they don't, as I say, they don't look as good as the newer maps, but I still think they look good and they're still fun to play. Those classic maps are classics. So yeah, I think they look decent. Cool. Right. Very briefly then, just going to mention that I've been playing some more Final Fantasy 14. Not a lot this week though, but I'm cracking on with the new expansion. The queue time seems to be a bit better now, so I'm able to get in. Yeah, I'm going to wait for Switch to come back next week to talk about it some more. So that's all I'm going to mention on 14 there. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier on in the show, and last I mentioned last week, I've got the Evercade console, so I've got a couple of new cartridges for it this week. So I got Worms, and I got the indie games of Tanglewood and Xenocrisis. So Xenocrisis is on Game Pass, and it's a hell of a lot of fun if you haven't played it. I'm not actually sure if Xenocrisis you can play online. That would be interesting if it could, but it's also on the Mega Drive as well. So basically, this game and Tanglewood are indie games that were made in the last 4 years or so for the Mega Drive, but they obviously, because they're modern, they all obviously put them on to PC and Xbox and stuff like that as well. And what's fun about Xenocrisis is I was playing it couch co-op with my stepson Evan, just having a blast. And what's interesting about it was playing it on obviously the Evercade, so it's D-pad only. There's no thumbstick, but to shoot in a direction, you've got the 4 face buttons. A, B, X, Y, like on the Xbox controller. So like Y is up, A is down, B is right, and X is left to shoot. So actually, so it works like a twin stick shooter, but without the sticks. And it's actually, these twin stick shooters are fun. You know what I mean? So, we're having a blast playing that. Tanglewood though is a 1-player game. That was also released for the Mega Drive very recently. It's also on PC. on Steam, and I think that's the only place it is on. To be honest, I've been playing it on the Evercade. It has been on my Steam wishlist for a while. It is a game that I've been wanting to play, and it's basically you play as a little fox, but it's a classic platformer, and it's really hard, right? Because it's one of those games you just doesn't tell you anything when you just start the game. You don't know what your buttons do. You don't know the story. You just got to figure out as you go along. So basically, you figure out as you're playing it. There's these little like weird fluffy ball things, and you need to roll them to certain places to get these different powers, like gliding. To get to other areas and stuff. But it's like a Dark Souls game, but even harder. Like one hit of an enemy and you're dead. You have to restart from the last little checkpoint thing. So
That sounds like Dark Souls.
Yeah, so it's super hard, but it's super fun as well. So yeah, if you've got Steam, it's on the Steam sale at the moment for £4, or £5 or something like that. So if you haven't got an Evercade, it's another way of playing this game. Obviously, Xenocrisis, as I mentioned, is on Game Pass. But yeah, they're two really, really good games. Obviously, Worms needs no introduction, right? Classic Worms. Having a blast playing that. I mean, you can't beat that gameplay, right?
What Worm games are on that collection?
Let me just grab my cartridge. 2 seconds. Yeah, so it's the Worms collection. It's got the original Worms, Worms Armageddon, and Worms Blast on the cartridge.
So I played loads of Armageddon on PS1. That's the one I played mostly.
Yeah, Armageddon is a really good one. Yeah, and I've also picked up Worms on the Switch as well, because that was on sales. It's just because it's.
I saw you playing that when I was on the Switch yesterday.
Yeah, so I've been.
I've got that as well. So if you need someone to kick your ass on that,
yeah, man, that's cool. But yeah, I'm enjoying the Evercade. It's a good little system for, those old school couch co-op moments, right?
So many, like the newer games, there's not a lot of 2-player couch co-op or 4-player couch co-op games anymore, is there?
No, there isn't, and when you got little kids, those little kind of games are really good to play because I've been off work all week. So my mini consoles have all found their way downstairs under the TV as well. So my mini Mega Drive and my Super Nintendo. And I soft modded both of those. So I've got every single Mega Drive game on the mini Mega Drive, and the mini SNES has every single SNES game. So you can, so me and my boy have been just ripping through so many games. I've been playing Golden Axe. We've been playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Time. We've been playing, obviously, Super Mario Bros. 3, which is one of my favourites, but also Super Mario World and Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, which has proved very popular with my little boy as well. A little bit of Kirby's Dream Land. Just a load of these classic games. But I had to take the consoles upstairs again after a couple of days of playing them with him because he's only 4, and you know what kids are like. I mean, I'm bad. I mean, adults are bad, but he was getting quite addicted. So the first thing he would watch, so he'd wake up in the morning, and the first thing he would say is, "Daddy, Daddy, can we play the Super Nintendo? Daddy, Daddy, can we play the Mega Drive?" And I'd be like, "No," and then he'd have a massive tantrum. So it got to a point where it's just like, look, you need a little bit of a detox now, and I know it's my fault. Because I love playing those games. It's really nice having, a kid who's really into games. It's really nice having those couch co-op experiences because it reminds me of having those couch co-op experiences I had when I was a kid, right? So, in my mind, we're making some good memories together playing these classic games, couch co-op together. But on the other hand, he's very young. I can't, and I sometimes forget how young he is. And then, kids do struggle more than adults, obviously, with the word no and getting that little bit of addiction, if that makes sense. So
yeah, I mean, I haven't got kids, but I know it's in a lot of the newer consoles. You could put time limits on, and you can only play so many hours day at certain times and stuff like that. Because I think that, I mean, when we were little, we just thought, because we were the kids, fuck 'em, I'll be all right. I don't give a shit. And after years of realizing I can't really remember anything I learnt at school, but I can remember so much from video games and like
Yeah.
TV shows on Nickelodeon, I can recite word for word after 25 years. It's like, maybe I should have learnt math rather than Keenan and Kel. Do you know what I mean?
Classic. Love Keenan and
In
Kel.
grand scheme of things, I should
Yeah.
probably not know every word to the whole series.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, I think everything in moderation is fine, right? But I think because my missus was out doing a lot of shopping, the Christmas shopping and stuff like that, I was just like, you know what, I'm going to be lazy parenting here, and we're just going to sit because it was like that classic. Because we was playing the mini consoles, the cords aren't that long. We were sitting on the floor, just
Yeah,
playing these games
you
for
could
hours.
get them extension leads off Amazon.
Yeah, but it's that classic gaming of like when you're a kid and you always used to sit on the floor playing the old consoles, with your mates or whatever. Um, we just really enjoyed it. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and obviously he really enjoyed it because it's just nice. Not a lot of kids get get have the luxury of their parents being gamers, right? So Marcus is getting a really, I think, a nice experience where I'm so into it. I'll buy all these games and consoles and things, and I'll introduce him to all the classics before introducing him to the newer stuff. So he's getting a really good range of games, and those classic games, man, are just so they're timeless, and like art style wise, especially like the 16-bit era of games, they just still hold up so well today. And the gameplay is so fun. You think of like Sonic and the Mario's, as the prime examples, right? They just
The 2D
so
pixel
good.
games are timeless, whereas
They are.
a lot of the early PS1 and PS2, N64 games have aged really
Oh,
badly,
it's ugly as fuck.
and
Yeah.
not just with looks, but like control schemes and stuff. I
Mm,
mean, so
hmm.
many of these games, I mean, it's 2D, you go from left to right, you jump, and that's pretty much it. A lot of games.
Right.
They are,
Yeah.
they are
So
good
yeah.
games. I mean, I remember when I first got, because I'm not that good at reading now, to be honest, but I wasn't very good at reading when I was younger because, well, I just didn't want to. But remember when I got Final Fantasy VII, I was like, oh man, I've got to keep playing this game. And I remember
Yeah.
playing that with a dictionary as well.
Oh
I was like
wow.
reading it and stuff like that, and like learn, basically the first Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 pretty much taught me to read more than what I did at school
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's something I wanted to learn and was
Yeah.
passionate about. Do you see what I
Yeah.
mean? Because like I
Yeah.
want,
Yeah. Yeah.
whereas that is that kid thing where if you try to tell someone to do something and they don't want to do it, they're not going to put the effort in.
That's it. That's correct. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So, we've been having a lot of fun on these old retro systems, on the mini consoles and that. And I say the Evercade's proved very popular. Um, been enjoying that. So, all is good in the world. So,
Fox game actually looks really good on the Twitch.
it is really, really fun. It's so hard as well, but it is really, really good. I'm going to briefly mention I've started to get back into Assassin's Creed again as well, Valhalla. Um, I because I've got all the DLCs to play, so I started off the Island DLC today, and I'm really enjoying it. Just learning the controls and that again of Assassin's Creed. Colin and Peebs are playing through it as well at the moment, as well, like the the main story, the original story, as well. So it's actually quite cool to all be playing the same game for something to talk about. So watch this space for Valhalla. So I did. I know I was mentioning about my boy gaming, but I did actually buy him a new game for Christmas because he's been watching it on YouTube. And I think it's fantastic. Paper Mario for the Nintendo Switch. It's so good. It is. I don't know if you've played this, Nicky, at
I
all.
looked at it, but a lot of people said it's like baby's first Paper Mario. It's really easy.
What was it? I mean, I
That's what
mean,
I've been told, which would be great if that's for Marcus.
well, the thing is because obviously he can't read, so I'm having to play it Now I'll have to sit next to him while he's playing it, and I'm pretty much, well, I am narrating the whole game.
Are you doing the Mario voice?
No, but I'm narrating the whole game for him. But it's really good. I didn't think it was going to be this good. The first thing that obviously struck me is the art style. It looks gorgeous, but it's done in a really cool way, right? So you explore the world. It's got the classic story of Peach and the castle, blah 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 blah. But the battle system itself is quite, because it's kind of turn based, like it's like this weird circle grid thing. And you have to move the like the enemy, so they all line up, and then you get and then you can do more damage and get more of them at once, because you're like fight in that straight line that you've lined them up at. So that's quite cool. But it's just the exploration of the world is really cool, and some of the puzzles are quite tricky a little bit. Where I've been stuck scratching my head for a short time on some section. But it's just a fun little game, to be honest, especially for kids. It's that cutesy art style I think is perfect for kids, to be honest. The only thing I will say though is I do have I mainly use the Hori Split Pad Pro for playing my Switch when it's in handheld mode. But Paper Mario requires motion controls for certain little things, so you can't use the Hori Split Pad Pro with this game. You have to use the actual nunchucks if you're playing it in handheld mode.
Can you use a Pro controller?
Yeah, so when it's docked, I use my Pro controller. But if it's in handheld mode, I know.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
There's a few games. I think Pokemon Let's Go has to have that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So as I say, I've only played a couple of hours with my boy, and initial impressions are, it's got a cool story, really lovely art style to it. The world is very well designed, and the combat is pretty cool. So yeah, not a bad little game, really. Okay, next game. I picked up a new game this week for the steering wheel. Been out for a while. It is PC only. It's called Beam NG Drive. Thinking, what the fuck is that game then? Well, I'll tell you. Well, I've only played it for about an hour or two, but my initial impressions are this is insane. So it's basically a super realistic crash test game, really. So I've only done the open world sections, and there's like towns and other areas that you can go into and basically drive around. So there's a small selection of vehicles, about 20 vehicles. So you've got a mixture of cars, trucks, and buses, and you can just drive around, really, if you want, obey all the laws and stuff like that. But it is done in a way where it's the most realistic game for that sort of simulation. So all the cars. So the reason there isn't many vehicles in it is because everything is in fine detail, even down to like the engines, the suspension, tires. Everything is detailed down to that last minute detail, because the damage is super realistic. So it's like a simple thing. If you smash your car on a curb, it can fuck your wheels up and stuff like that, right? And I actually watched some videos where, because there is actually a crash test range in this, and they actually compared this to videos of real crash tests that the manufacturers do, and there's like hardly any difference at all. It's absolutely insane. So it's really just a really cool virtual playground, and you've got so many options. You can turn on and off the traffic, decide how much traffic there is, add cop cars. You can even just set your car on fire if you want, just for lols, make doors fall off. Yeah, man. It's just really, really fun. And like the actual feedback on the steering wheel's really realistic as well. So they've mapped all the latest steering wheels to the game as well. So I'm driving up my steering wheel.
Is this like a fan game, or is this like a...
No, it's a proper game on Steam. It's been out for a good few years. It's still in early access, I think, but it's been out for
I'm
about
saying,
4
because when you
years.
actually see the crashing in this, because usually in Forza, you crash and you just bounce off them and keep going and
Yeah.
nothing really happens, or you get like burnout where you'll crash and then the car will just go like spiraling into the air and then you press a button to explode. Whereas this, it does look more realistic how the cars crash
Oh,
up and
it's super
crumple and stuff like
realistic. It's
that.
super
Yeah,
realistic. But the cool thing is, right? I mean, once you crash your car, obviously you can't use it again, but you just get the
yeah, I
option
see
to
it.
to spawn in another vehicle just on those open world. If you go into open world just dicking around, you can just spawn another car in. Yeah. So it's just fun, man. I mean, and the maps are really big as well. All set in America. I did like an East Coast one, and just driving around for bloody, it felt like miles, And then you can just fuck it. I'm going to drive off a cliff or something, see what happens to the vehicles. But yeah, it's got quite a large community actually, and loads of mods, shitloads of mods you can download for this for more cars and various other things. And I've not delved into that. I've just since I've not really played it a lot. Um, but the other thing is that's realistic is it. Depending on the vehicle, it depends on how they handle completely. So if you're driving a really old car, like a really old American muscle car, it doesn't have the traction control, and you have to use the manual gear stick if you've got one with your wheel. Whereas if it's a modern car, there's some cars that are just automatically are automatic only, like they are in real life. Some that are manual only. Some use your paddles and stuff like that. So they've even gone down to that minute detail as well. So the older cars, I say, don't have the traction control, so you spin out really, really easy as well. So it's all down. All those details are down to that minute detail, which I think is really cool. So yeah, man, it's just a cool little playground. So yeah,
So, I
I've been
mean,
really
that's what I
enjoying that.
said is that I don't know if I said the right word, like a real licensed game because they had so many different cars. So I take it like what you're showing on the Twitch is like where people have modded it and put real cars in.
Yeah, I mean there is some real cars in it anyway, but I've not seen a Ford Focus in the option. So yeah, you can obviously download mods for it. Yeah,
Because I
but
suppose with a game like I don't know who makes this game, but if it's in early access, it's obviously not a huge developer, and to get the licenses for all the cars would be stupid money.
yeah, I mean it's made by a company called BeamMG. So I suppose it's
Yeah.
called BeamMG Drive, but it's been out since 2015 and it's still in early access.
It's
So
never coming out of early access, really, is it?
probably not. But apparently it's vastly improved. Because I was looking at Steam reviews, and apparently it's like a completely different game to when it obviously when it launched. It's just iterating on it all the time. And apparently it's got a really big community. It's got a lot of people making a lot of videos on YouTube and Twitch streaming it and all that as well. And I thought, well, I've been looking at it for a little while, and it's very popular. So I thought, you know what, I'll give it a bish bash bosh because I like to have a selection of driving games depending on my mood, and I want to use my steering wheel. So yeah, man, it's really really good. And then my boy was like, "Daddy, can I have a go?" And kids, I'm like, kids love this game. If I'm going by my boy's reaction, because he was like, "Daddy, set the car on fire again. Oh, let's drive it down this." He was loving it. I was like, "Oh, okay. I can see the kids liking this one." Well, so yeah, it's good fun.
Watch out for him if he wants to set fire to cars. Just he'd
Yeah.
sleep with one eye open.
So last couple of games, I've only played a little bit of Xenoblade Chronicles Remastered, so I'm not going to mention any more of that. I'm still trying to plow through that on the Switch. And I did start another RPG, which I've actually owned on Steam for about 2 years, but only come out of early access this year. Edge of Eternity. I wanted to try it because it's actually coming out on consoles next year. I only played it for about an hour. My early impressions aren't that great, to be honest, but I do need to play it some more because I have been reading some reviews saying that if you can get through the first few hours, which are really slow, it does open up and get really good. A bit, like some RPGs are like that, aren't they? But the first thing that I kind of felt when I started playing the game was characters just look like dolls, and they act really wooden as well. I just find it a little bit off-putting, and the voice acting is a little bit weird as well. Like, I know this is made by an indie developer, but it just felt a little bit off. So I'm hoping it does pick up later, and apparently the reviews do. The battle system itself is kind of turn-based, but it's weird. Like, there's like this grid system, so you have to like move your character to the certain grid space, and then you get all these different attack moves. And obviously, the magic users can attack from further away with their range spells, blah blah blah. So that seems quite interesting. But the open world
sort of died a
sections,
death. The grid RPG. That's sort of died a death over the last few generations. I was
yeah,
never a
but
big lover of it back in the day. But
no,
it seemed
me
a bit
neither.
more overcomplicated than it needs to be. But I know they were. Like, I think what the older ones were. It was like
Oh yeah,
I don't know if I'll say Grand Day or something like that. I think that might
Final
have been
Fantasy
grid.
Tactics.
Oh, you see, that was as well, and there's a few others like that.
But the reason I got this in early access, I mean, this was originally a Kickstarter game, but I got it because the open world sections, it reminded me of Xenoblade in a way, like just very beautiful. That's what kind of sold me on it, and plus I got it dirt cheap, like I don't know, it's about 10 quid or whatever. But yeah, at the moment I'm just kind of like, it feels like it's going to be a tiny slog just to get to the good bit, and I don't know if I can be arsed with it. So we'll see if I do carry on with it in the future. But as I say, it is coming to consoles next year, so yeah, we shall see.
I see what you mean. Looking at the Twitch feed, the characters don't match the environment, do they?
Yeah, it just seems a bit odd. It really does.
I suppose things like that, physics and motion capture and stuff like that, that's what costs the big bucks.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just my initial impression, really. Oh, and I did play another game actually, which I completely forgot about, and I've only played it for about 20 minutes. So I just wanted to give a quick impression. So it's a game that I've been told we're getting for a short while. Turner mentioned it. It's called Ready or Not. It's a PC exclusive game. I don't think it will ever come to console. But do you remember the old SWAT games?
No.
No, so the old really realistic SWAT games, you're the police SWAT team and you're going in and you're killing the terrorists or saving hostages or whatever. What Rainbow Six tried to be, but completely failed at, right? So
this looks more like a more realistic Rainbow Six.
This is super realistic. So, as I say, I only played about 20 minutes. I only played a single player, and I only picked this up because Wes is picking it up. Turner's got it. HDoob has picked it up in Red Tone in the Discord, and I think Darkest Frost is going to be picking it up as well. So it's going to be really, apparently in co-op, it is so fun. It's 5-player in co-op, and I watched a video of someone playing it, and I was just like, this would be so cool in a group. Because it is that super realistic. Like, it's so realistic they haven't even got a sprint. Your guys can't sprint. They can either walk or walk really slow.
Like me, then.
So it is that. It is down to that minutia, right? You've got equipment. You can put like a mirror under the door, see where the terrorists are or whatever. Breaching and clearing. With your flashbangs or whatever. And it's, you get, obviously you can't kill the civilians because you lose your ranking for the level and all that sort of stuff as well. But it is very slow and methodical. So I played some single player and you can control your squad. So it's 5 of you, so there's you and the 4 AI, but you can control the AI in 2 teams of 2 if you want. So if there's a room that has 2 entrances to it, for example, you can stack, half your team on one door, half your team at the other door, and then breach the room, both doors at the same time, and then go in. And it's actually quite good. I was getting frustrated with it because there is quite a lot of different key bindings, and obviously it's new. I was getting a bit frustrated. I couldn't, and because it's still in early access, I think they've missed a few things out in the options menu, because I was looking at the controls and I wanted to know how to change my firing on my weapon from single shot to full auto, and I couldn't find the button setting in the controls. So I joined the Discord and asked in there, and they just said, "Oh, it's X." I was like, "Is it? Oh, okay then, thank you." Simple things like that. But there's a lot of different gadgets you can use that are all set on different on your different num lock buttons and all that sort of stuff, right? And you've got your night vision goggle button, and you've got your torch and all that sort of stuff as well. So I haven't played it much. I've not played it in co-op. I have watched videos of it in co-op, and it looks like so much fun. But you can play all the levels in single player, as I say, and you control your squad, so that's quite cool. But it's done in a way though where there's not really any menus, right? So you start the game and you're in this like kind of hub zone, which is a police station. So you go to different areas. So there's an area where you can change your equipment, and then there's another area you can change. Well, so you change your loadout. There's a section for your equipment. There's a section in the area to change, to customize your weapons, like put your scopes on and your barrels and clips and stuff. And then you got another one where there's a mirror and you change what you do to look like, right? And there's a little training room area, like in Call of Duty, the actual level with the wooden training zone. They've got one of those zones in there, and then they've just got a firing range so you can practice, with the different weapons and stuff like that. But yeah, it's super realistic. It's very slow and methodical. And I'm looking forward to trying it out with some actual real people, because it is actually pretty good single player as it is. But I want to play it with some people online. Get that done this week. Have a session and see how many times we die.
So has it got permadeath on it?
Yeah, so once your dude's dead, that's it. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, don't quote me on that. I know if you die, your squad, because you're rated from like A to F, how well you've done, and that's because one of the objectives can be don't kill any of the terrorists, arrest them all, so you lose points for killing them, and you lose points if hostages die and all that sort of stuff, right? Lose points if your teammates get injured. So there's all these different variables. If you get injured, so if you get shot in the leg, you can bandage up your leg, but then you'll walk even slower and with a limp, and it'll make your aiming harder because you're injured. If you don't heal up, you'll bleed out and die. And I don't know if you respawn or not. I haven't got to that point in the game, so that's something I need to find out, Nicky, to be honest. But
a guy died on the Twitch feed, and then that said spectate. So
yeah, so I'm guessing you're spectating, so you need to make sure you're not shit, or you'll be watching for a while.
Yeah. It's like me with Warzone. I was like, you land, oh, I'm dead right now. Start again. I'll leave everyone else to themselves.
But that's one of the things that put me off carrying on, because I used to play a lot of Tarkov with a group of people. But if you die early on, you need to wait for everyone to finish the level, and that could be another hour. I'm not sitting around for an hour. Fuck that shit. I want gaming time's precious. So yeah, it is cool though. It's in early access, and I hope to be playing with some. That's it. That's all my games playing. So there's been a little bit of news as well, so I'm going to rip through that very quickly. January's PS Plus games have been leaked, and they're quite interesting. So you've got Dirt 5, Deep Rock Galactic, and Persona 5 Strikers.
Ooh, I've got that. Strikers. I'll play that in 5 years.
Yeah, I've got Strikers, and I've hardly played it, which is kind of odd. Come out in like February, I think.
It's a long game though, man. It's probably another 80, 100 hours. Because like I said, when said about it on the pod, I didn't realise it was a full Persona game, like sequel to Persona 5. I thought it was like a Persona Arena, like fighting game. I didn't realise it was a proper game, because I've never seen them actually do that before.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. So I do want to actually play that some, but I just seem to get lost in all these other games, to be fair. Okay, right, I'm going to move on. Oh yeah, so another PlayStation bit of news as well. Starting on Wednesday, any PS Plus subscriber who had previously redeemed Final Fantasy VII Remake are now able, well, they will be able to upgrade that to the PS5 version free of charge.
Pretty silly, isn't it? Because I remember people complaining last year that it wasn't the PS5 version, or you wouldn't get free upgrade to the PS5 version with the PS Plus version.
It's a bit late now. I think that's a bit late now to be doing that anyway, because I think all the fans would have bought it anyway. I think it's just Square Enix, because at the time, I mean, I think Square Enix have been very greedy, to be honest, in regards to this game. Obviously, with the PS Plus stuff, but also with the release of the PC version being 70 quid and it being voted like the worst PC port in years. Fucking wankers. And there was even a bit of news this week regarding that on PC. The Epic Store went down over Christmas because they're doing the free games of the day, and some of them have been quite decent. And to play games on Epic Store, you need to be connected to the internet. So anyone who bought Final Fantasy VII Remake couldn't play it because they couldn't connect to the store. So the people that had bought it on Epic couldn't play it, but all the people that had pirated it could play it fine. Lols. I just think that's hilarious. Oh, and my last piece of news actually is back to Ready or Not. So the developer Void Interactive had actually gone into a partnership with Team 17. Team 17 were going to publish the game, but that has now been rescinded, and Ready or Not are going to publish it themselves. That's because the game is going for ultra realism. They're actually working on a level set in a school during a school shooting. So obviously, Team 17 thinks that's in bad taste. The developer have said, "Look, we're going for realism here. Stop being such pussies. We're going to do it anyway." So they mutually agreed that Team 17 would not publish it. So that's going to be interesting when that level comes out. It's probably just going to give the game a lot more publicity and more people will buy it. You look at the No Russian thing on Call of Duty back in the day. You know what I mean? So,
and the what was the one in the airport as well?
There's No Russian.
There was no, yeah, because that I don't think they do that anymore. Call of Duty, have in every campaign for about 5 or 6 years, they had something really bad, or you had to agree to at the start. Cause I think you got, what was it, nuked in one of the games, shooting up the airport, and I can't remember all of them though. I think because they're stopped for a while now.
Yeah,
they had Kevin Spacey in one. That was probably naughty. Not deliberately.
Yeah, so I'm not that bothered about having a school shooting level in it. As I say, they've got other areas in the game which could probably, it's going for realism, right? Terrorists, hostages, and all this sort of stuff. Stuff that actually does happen in real life, right? And this is what they're going for. So the game is very difficult. It's very realistic. And that's what some people enjoy. I certainly enjoy that sort of thing. So I just thought that was an interesting piece of news, really. The fact that I've just picked it up. Oh, there's this little news about it as well. Golsies. That's all my news. Have you got any news, Nikki?
Yeah, just one game, because it's a bit quiet this time of year, isn't it? Because they've all sort of died down for Christmas, which is the other electric car manufacturer, Tesla.
Yeah.
Actually agree, because I haven't got one. I'm sure you haven't got one of the Teslas anyway, because obviously big electric cars.
Well, but they've got
enough. Yeah, and they've got the big screen in them, and because they've got the big, huge iPad, and you can actually play games on it whilst driving. So you could actually, and legally, there's nothing wrong with whilst you're driving to play Sonic 2 with a controller at the same time as you're driving.
Bloody hell.
I think it's one of those loopholes where they said you couldn't talk to somebody on the phone for 2 or 3 years, but you could text someone whilst driving. Which obviously they've, it's all these loopholes. But Tesla have agreed next year they're gonna like update the software in the cars so you can't play Sonic whilst you're driving.
People just
But
won't update it.
I don't know if they, to be honest, I don't know if they update that over the air sort of thing. So I know you take your car in, sometimes they plug it in and do updates, but I don't know if they do it. I don't know how exactly they do it, but they said the new cars aren't going to get it, and they're going to update the old ones. So
Dues.
no Sonic 2 for people driving anymore.
That is interesting.
You got to go fast, right?
That's it, mate. Gotta go fast. Okay, that's all the news then. We've had no questions. It is that time of year, Christmas time. People are busy with families and stuff. Big thank you to everyone on the Twitch. HDoob, Luke. That's it, actually. Gavlar, thank you very much. Have you got any questions before we end? If not, I will end it here. Diddle-a-did-do. Well, I don't think we have any questions this week, Nick.
It's good, isn't it?
You know what? This has been a really short show. We've only been going for an hour and 15 minutes on the recording.
Plus, people are going to have to contact your email address and come on here and talk if they don't think we're talking long enough.
Well, it's that time of year anyway. There's not a lot of news. You know, this is actually the last show of 2021 as well. I've just realised.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Our show of 2021. And it's just you and me, Nikki. Raising our glasses to everyone, all of our listeners. I'm drinking my Jack Daniels single barrel malt right now. Saying thank you to all the listeners for sticking with us throughout 2021. And I really do hope you stick with us throughout 2022. An extra big thank you to all the Patreons that make the show happen every single week of the year. Without you, the show would still be every fortnight. So a big thank you to you guys for getting the show out every single week. So props to you guys. So on that note then, Nikki, I think we're going to have to say Happy New Year to all our listeners. And we will see you again in 2022.
Hey, Happy New Year.
So yeah, from me, Mark Webb, gamertag Pearson Steam ID Webby 360G.
No new variants of code in 2022. Yay! Fights.
So thank you very much. Have a wonderful new year, everybody. And as I say, hope to see you all in 2022. So from myself and Nikki, have a wonderful new year, and we will see you again 2022. Bye.